Good evening and welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole with KD. I am your host, KD. I apologize to our viewing audience. We were having quite the technical difficulties on this evening. We're still probably going to have them, so just bear with us. We're going to trudge through this show as best as we possibly can. Tonight, and more, I do have more guests. They're just going to have to struggle in because things are going on technologically wise or whatever you want to say. Anyway, tonight's show is brought to you by Luvolution Superfood. Can you guys see that? And it is a product from Amy and John Cripen, all the way from Maine. They are some of my viewers, two of my viewers actually, and they have sent me an awesome product, and I have been using it for a couple of weeks now. I feel awesome. I will give you a full update on that once I'm done with the bottle. So, tonight's show is titled The Black Man is God. But in the city of Chicago, sometimes the black man has been a dog. And so we're going to talk about that on tonight. I have with me Chris Greer, Terrence Mackey, and Scotty Trades. Everybody say hello to the audience. Say hey.
Hey.
All
Hey.
So, fellas, this is how I'm going to do it since there's so many of you all. And we all want to we all want to be able to hear everyone's conversation. I'm just going to kind of lead it a little bit and kind of we know how to talk, but sometimes we can, I know I overtalk people. So, you know what I'm saying? We just want to kind of be mindful of everyone's conversation, et cetera, et cetera. Chris Greer, let's start with you. When I say first of all, Chris Greer, tell the audience who you are, what you do, what side of town you're from, and let's see, your relationship status.
Okay. My name is Chris Greer, Christopher Greer, Chris A. Greer, whatever you want to call me. I live out in right outside of Olympia Fields, Illinois. I am an actor, director, composer, musician, singer. I wouldn't really call myself a dancer, but I can I can do my thing. But other than that, I write. I'm a screenwriter. And my relationship status is I am seeing somebody, and she is so special.
Hey.
Ooh.
All right.
You see the eyebrow.
All right. She must be watching this show. Hey, girl. Okay,
I don't know.
Guest.
Maybe.
Y'all, when I tell y'all everything is acting a fool tonight, it's acting a fool, but it's cool. Y'all know I know how to get through stuff. My next guest is Mr. Terrence Mackey, all the way from Los Angeles, California.
Hey, all right.
Hey, honey, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Please tell our viewing audience who you are. Well, I already told them you're from Los Angeles, California. What side of town you lived on when you were in the city of Chicago. And your relationship status.
Okay. So, again, my name is Terrence L. Mackey. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm originally from the south suburbs of Chicago, Chicago Heights area. But I'm familiar with Olympia Fields. When you're from the south suburbs, I'm pretty much from everywhere. I live just about everywhere.
Yeah.
But I've been in LA for about 3 years now on the 27th of this month, actually. So it'll be my 3-year anniversary. And my relationship status is spoken for. I'm spoken for, thankfully. Look, it's hard times out here. So just to be
it's hard out here for us here.
Have somebody good in your corner. I'm there.
You better and keep them.
Yeah, and keep them.
It's a pandemic out here.
Okay, Corona ain't the only one stealing up the people now. Okay.
Come on.
But yeah, so that's me, guys, and I'm an actor as well, all around artist. I like to be the jack all trades as everybody. I sing. I've been dancing since I was out of the womb, and I mostly acting though. So I came out here and I'm always auditioning and putting on for my city. You know how it go. So yeah, so that's me,
I
Terrence
know
L.
how it
Mackey.
go. Thank you, Terrence.
Hmm.
And last for now, but certainly not least, Scotty Trades. How are you, sir?
Hey, how's everybody? I'm doing great. I grew up in
Good,
Chicago on the
good.
south side, Cook County born, hood raised,
Hmm.
uh, all the way from, uh, man, what was them, 22nd and Federal to Beverly, out south.
Okay.
And football scholarship, University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas. And never returned back to Chicago, but huge fan of theater. I wanted to major in undergrad in theater, but my parents like, no, you're gonna be broke.
I know that's right.
And they told me, my mom wasn't having it, and I didn't have no direction over myself. I guess under then,
Hmm.
but that's one of my biggest regrets. Not pursuing something I wanted to do. But I retired
Well,
myself from nursing, and I'm an active day trader in stocks and options on Wall Street.
Very
awesome.
good.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, guys. Thank
Oh,
you
I'm
all
sorry.
for
I am married 29 years.
oh, I'm sorry, Scotty. I
Hey,
went right
Yeah,
off. I
29.
wasn't even
yeah,
thinking about your relationship status. I'm
yeah,
sorry, Scotty.
yeah. And
Yes,
I've
It's
been doing
happily
cases.
married.
I've been doing cases since she was a little kid.
very good. She's still a little kid.
I'm
Wow.
still a
Yeah. She's
kid.
still a little
She's still
kid.
a little
I'm
Yeah,
still a
a little woman.
yeah. A little woman. Yeah, yeah.
look. Look, don't start with me, Terrence. Do not start with me. Okay, okay, okay. So, fellas, when I say the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe, how does that make you feel, Chris?
Wow. Um,
You need a little
thinking back
time? You
and
need me to come back to you?
no,
Yeah, he
no, I
got
don't
it.
need no time.
Okay.
No,
Come on,
it's
babe.
just that it's just that I'm a religious, not a religious guy, but I'm a spiritual guy. So uh, when
Mhm.
I read the Bible, and in the
Yep.
Bible it says that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. I'm not going to go through the whole book of Genesis, but one of the
Mhm.
scripture, one of the scriptures in there says that the Garden of Eden was in Ethiopia. So
Yes.
I didn't need a calendar. I didn't need, not a calendar. I didn't need a map to actually find out where Ethiopia was.
Mhm.
So if it says that the
Right.
first two people lived in Ethiopia, then the first two people were
Come on.
Africans.
Black. Hmm.
So that's what the book says.
African.
Now, if y'all want to change it,
That's what the
change
book.
it.
Now that's hey,
But that's what the
at
book says.
church that at church when you doing right, we got a church mother. She say she say you in the book. So Chris, you in the
In a
book.
book. Yep.
You in the book, baby. Talk.
Hey, in the book,
That's it. Okay,
hey,
Terrence. When
Hmm.
I say that to you, how does that make you feel?
Um, you know what? It makes now, if I'm gonna be honest, now
Mm-hmm.
in my age now, and I'm not still got the milk behind my ears. I know, but now I've learned a lot. It makes me feel proud. To be honest, knowing what I know now, everything that's happening in society, um, it makes me feel proud. But I would not be lying. I would be lying if I didn't say that. Growing up, I did not feel that so. Or anything in my family as such. I mean, as you know, growing up, I didn't go into deep depth into the Bible like that, as to knowing that they were African descent, and you know what I mean, starting from that and then
Mm-hmm.
doing the research and uh, you know watching so many videos and reading books, you kind of find out all of these different things, and it's just like, wow, I am powerful when I didn't feel powerful back then. Like we say, we all come from Chicago, and sometimes we didn't always feel strong, or I know I did. I felt helpless sometimes. I really didn't know anything
Mm-hmm.
outside of Fort Heights, Chicago Heights, to be honest. I didn't know much, you know what I mean? But as you get
Mm-hmm.
cultured and you understand the God given, that I always like to think that I'm a deity, me personally.
Come on.
I think
Come
that if
on.
I'm made from Christ, then I must have, and it says in the word, we have the power in our tongue, power in our hands to rebuke, to do whatever is necessary. He gave us the power of Him. So, with that being said, I when I really sat down, and as they say in the Kojic church, in the Kojic church, and thought about that thing, okay,
That's right,
I
Terrence.
got
I
up in that
forgot you was
thing.
Kojic.
I'm Kojic, so it just dawned on me. It's just like He gave us all that, and who am I not to think of myself as something
Mm-hmm.
strong, passionate, powerful? And I do now, and I'm still learning every day. Like I say, got a little milk behind my ears still, but it's so much to learn. And God willing, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
here to get into a ripened age to teach generations on top of generations. But I'm feeling so proud as of now and who I am, this color of my skin, the curls in my hair. Like I'm
Everything.
happy, you know what I mean? The way I act, the way I walk into a room, I feel my own energy that God gave me, and I'm very proud as of now. Yeah, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
always feel that way. I used to felt less than a lot before. Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Scotty, when I
All
say
right.
that to you, how do
Well,
you feel?
I can pick that up with Chris and Terrence. First of all, uh, growing up, I knew my awareness. We're descendants from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and we come from a generation of slaves from the Europeans. And
Mm-hmm.
something has been broken the way they separated us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And and as far as African, Black Americans, we're really spiritually broken from Africa.
Hmm.
You
Yeah, we
know,
are.
yeah. And so, but my faith, something we
Mm-hmm.
born into. I believe
Mm-hmm.
in my Lord and Savior to guide my footsteps every day I wake up.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I do know
Mm-hmm.
I'm God-like.
Yeah.
Come on.
I see kings in you, Terrence. I see a king in you, Chris.
Thank
I
you.
see a queen in Kay.
Yep.
I look at all my African Americans and
Hmm.
Black people on this planet
Hmm.
the same way. We're
Yes.
being diluted.
Yep.
Uh, and I grew up, and actually, Farrakhan was very active when I was going through high school. He was at my high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not Muslim, but man, he hit black men in America. He hit it on the nail.
Yes.
As far as
Yes.
economics, we'll run
Yes.
way out our way to spend our money with someone other than ourselves. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and I always wonder. Here I am in Northwest Arkansas. My bank online is a black-owned
Mm-hmm.
bank in Chicago.
Mm.
I go online and buy black
Okay.
product. I might spend a few extra bucks, but guess what? I believe in black economics.
Hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so when I see stuff, I always pray to make myself a better person every day. My contribution to blacks in America, like the movie Harriet Tubman, great movie, but I had a problem with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
They picked a European black woman to play the role
Mm.
of, of an American icon. You know, I have no problem with blacks across the globe.
European. Okay. Wait a minute.
European
Keep
black.
Write
talking.
it there, okay? Hmm.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, she live in London. Hey, we all know we all come from the South, even
Right.
though we spread it out.
Yep.
I'm sure we could have picked a sister out of the nation of America
Hmm.
to play that role. You know, so I do look at things because that movie would have been meant more to me because I know her bloodline come from this American history. You know, America is the only country we have. Love, the bed, the
Okay.
hate. Yeah, I don't know no one nowhere else. You know, I know people,
Right.
Americans that moved over to Ghana, you know, back to South Africa, opening up businesses and things like that. I've been to Nigeria. You know, my next trip to Africa is going to be Ghana. You know, now I've been all over the place. I've been to Thailand. Been to Europe. You know, and stuff like that. But as far as being spiritually black, I'm rooted in who I am as a person, and it took me later in life to figure that out
Mm-hmm.
because I think, like you said, all you knew was where you was from and where we at
Yeah.
in our geographical locations.
Yeah.
I've been East Coast, West Coast, and I found out we all got something, but it's just a different,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a different type of lingo and mentality wherever you go, from the
Absolutely.
Bayou to the Dakotas,
That's true.
from
Mm-hmm.
Boston to LA.
Yeah.
You know, because
That's true.
in
Terrence, I'm sorry.
yeah, oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. Terrence, you made a statement a while back. You said you kind of sometimes felt
Mm-hmm.
um helpless. What
Mm-hmm.
did you mean by that?
Um, Everybody I know is born into their own circumstances. I just was not born into the wealthy circumstance.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you know what? I
Okay.
think we all can attest from being raised. I hope that we can being raised by strong black women. Um, Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
you guys strong black men. So they teach us that whatever we had was great. You know, the big,
Mm-hmm.
splash until you get into high school and junior high, you start to see other kids that may
Mm-hmm.
have more than you, and then that's when you start to notice things. But I just remember, and I can take it just back to the arts. My mom did as much as she could as far as, you know, put me in drama club and dance, dance groups and stuff like that. But when it was down to it, and I was of course doing my own research because I dream about this night and day. That's how I know it's my destiny and my passion. The things that I wanted to that cost money, I wasn't able to do. If that makes sense, just
Right.
because of
It does.
finances, and also on top of that, my mom had 4 kids. We're moving to better our life,
Mm-hmm.
and her priority was to make sure her kids had a better life, but mostly it's really to get out the projects, you know what I mean. As far as dreams and stuff goes, unfortunately in black communities dreams come secondary, sometimes even thirdary to minorities, unfortunately. Which I don't even like the word minority. I think we majorities, a lot of us. Okay, so I think
Yes.
we kind of getting up there on the majority train. But so a lot of times, I remember crying when I was little, just like, why can't I? You know what I mean? And I didn't get frustrated with my mom. I was a very intelligent kid, but I knew the circumstance. She just didn't have. She did what she had to do. Anything miscellaneous, she probably
Mm-hmm.
could not do. Um, Unfortunately, I'm still human, so it didn't make me feel, but I felt helpless at just like those opportunities. I feel like my mom could have had. She was smart, you know what I mean? My mom graduated her junior year instead of her senior year. She went to college. My mom is a double master's, getting her double master's by next year. So it's not that like she wasn't qualified, but with the circumstances that was dealt to us, it just almost felt like I would never get out of the small town of Fort Heights, Chicago Heights. It just felt like I was gonna be kind of just stuck there, and I cried a lot. I was just like, I just want more. I remember wanting to move to Alabama, to Texas with my cousins one time. I just wanted to get out. I wanted to go someplace
And you
other
got
than,
out.
and I got out,
And
and I
you
got a
got out.
degree.
And
And
you
to
went
you,
all the
Scotty,
way to Los
yeah.
Angeles,
And to you,
California.
Scotty, yeah, and to you, Scotty, I actually got my degree in theater and fine arts. So I followed
Come
No,
my,
no,
you
on.
no,
know,
no. Let me correct you.
I
I
did.
wanted
Did you? I know
to
you want it,
major in
And
theater.
had
but
right.
I got it though. So for you to say I wish I would have, you know what I mean, and for me to, you know what I mean, to do it, it I know what you're saying economically, but I feel blessed to have done that. But growing up, I did feel helpless as a black boy. I was just like, it ain't no way out of this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to get a post office job. Everybody in front of me with, so y'all know what I mean. Work for the
Terrence,
CTA. You
I
know
think
what I
that's a
mean?
lot of us.
There's a lot. So I was just
Yeah.
like, but I knew in my heart and in my gut, I was like, I can't. It's nothing that I want to do other than perform or do arts, but I did not know how to do that without one being judged by my family. That happens a lot in the Midwest from Black households, and I think that's something one day, if not this broadcast, to touch on. Just stop judging our Black men when they love
Come
arts
on.
or they love music or they love anything, and
Come
you beat
on.
in
Come
Right.
on.
sports. You know what I mean? I don't. It was a lot of that happening in my own household, not from my mom, but from the person in my house that was the male figure. Wanted me to do football. I did football 4 years. It was terrible,
Mm-hmm.
terrible at that. I
Mm-hmm.
was terrible, but
I
you know
love
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean.
football.
I know, but I just couldn't. I did safety
Me
just so
too.
I didn't get
Hey,
tackled.
football got me out of Chicago.
I want to play. You know what? If it,
Yeah.
I love when it works, but don't
Yeah.
force it on your kids. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I
Like
don't.
I
Yep.
love when you
Yep.
love something, but in my
Mm-hmm.
household, in my family, I just felt like if they do, I'm gonna be talked about, and so I kind of didn't want to be. And that's our job. You as a musician, you as a act, okay, you everything. You know
I,
what I mean?
I feel you on that,
It's
Terrence.
just like your job is to perform. And if you scared to perform because the people around you are, making you feel bad, or it's kind of hard to kind of get out of that. You know what I mean? So I did feel useless a lot of the times, or helpless. I don't want to say useless. Sometimes useless too, but helpless back then than I do now. So
Hey, I look up to you on that, chasing your dreams though, and
I
living that
appreciate
life
that. Living the life,
because
yeah.
you doing it without no regrets.
No,
You know.
and you know
Definitely.
what? I was actually you live in Olympia Fields. You know about the Matson area, I'm sure.
Hmm.
I actually was a store manager of the Pizza Hut right on Cicero and Lincoln Highway.
Oh, okay.
So I was the store manager of that for like a
Hey
year, but I worked there
guys.
5 years. Yeah, hey Kay, you back? We didn't skip a beat.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, so I
I'm
actually
back.
ran
I'm
that,
back. I'm
but
back.
I
Keep
was
going.
completely depressed. I ran that store and I was depressed until I
Hmm.
said I got a degree from my mom because my mom was like, "You're a black man in America. You have to go to school." I was like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah." I would go to
Yes.
school and then I worked my butt off, at Pizza Hut, and I worked and worked until it was just was like to the point I was mean to customers. I was running the business fine, but I wasn't happy, and it reflected. And I was just
Right.
like, I gotta move. I have to go to LA, and it's always been my dream. And I have no regrets. I'm very, very happy. And I always tell people, if you can make it in Southside Chicago, you can make it anywhere. And so I come out here and I make it. I know what the dollar menu is. I know what Little Caesars at. If I gotta eat, small, I know how to do it.
You know
So
all the spots.
know all the spots. I'm good. You know what I mean? I just need a car and somewhere to live. And God has blessed me so far. So I have no regrets. I'm extremely happy, even when I don't get the roles when I go to auditions, but I'm extremely happy. So
That's good. That's good stuff.
Okay, I didn't know you had a twin.
I know, right? She wished so she could be everywhere
Who
at
is my?
Uh-oh.
once.
Oh, I know, right?
You got a director K, you got a
Y'all,
producer
this
K,
thing
you
is
got a
acting.
I know she's a little eccentric, but wow, I didn't know
hmm
she had two twins. Yeah, so as I say, hey, I feel you on everything. Self
Yeah.
confidence. I don't think we
Oh
really
my
grew up
gosh,
with
there's
that.
a whole another person there.
Is it yeah, I think they were saying to come on backstage, K.
Yeah, I
Somebody said
started to
that.
play in high school to play Pearly.
Okay.
Yeah, and Miss Dawson, she went on to teach at the Julian High School at Northwestern Theater Department.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what clicked my theater. And actually, I didn't want it. They came out. She pulled me out of practice on the football field, told me I was going to be in this thing. Well, I wasn't going to
Uh-oh.
pass the class.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
And found out I hated it with a passion. They said no. Yeah,
uh-huh.
damn. Stage left, stage. I'm like, oh, snap. Shoot, I like
Uh-huh.
this.
I
I
know.
got the bug in me,
Mm-hmm. And
and
you could do it all. And I think they put us a lot in the box as black men too, but we can do it all. You can do everything.
Hey,
Aubrey.
hey, what's
Look
good?
at that. Hey.
I feel like I made it. I'm in an exclusive club. How y'all
Yes.
doing?
all right. Oh,
Very
man.
good.
I got to get that blackboard behind you. I got to get me a
Oh
board behind
man,
me.
I know.
man, you gotta have one, man. It is absolutely necessary, man. It's absolutely necessary. I can't if not for that, I don't know. There's no way I'd be organized to do any of the craziness I'm trying to do.
Keep it all together.
Man, trying.
I got mine too.
You got yours.
You got it,
I
man.
got mine on the wall over there.
Man,
Oh, I got.
I want to go.
I got a calendar for it too. I got a calendar too.
Yeah, I use my Google Calendar. I got to go get me a board now tonight.
Yeah, it's so.
You gotta write
All
it
right,
down.
guys, I'm back. Hopefully,
Hey,
saying, why are there two of me? Why
It's
is
always
there two of
is.
me? I think
That's why I said you
I
had
think
twin.
There
my
you go.
clone must be glitching tonight, y'all. Like my clone is like weekend so hard, y'all. What the hey? Anyway, I wanted to say to Scotty and to Terrence as well. It's not just male artists because I was told as well that don't go to school for theater. You don't go to school for theater or for film. That's like a hobby. You go to school to be a lawyer. How about I'm not a lawyer? How about I was a grown woman and then realized that people had, guess what, degrees in theater.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
for those of our listening audience that for those who for those who have wanted to always be an actor or a whatever, follow your dreams. Okay,
Follow it.
man,
your
absolutely
dreams.
go for it.
Let's
Absolutely.
read. I want to shout out to some of our viewers on here. Casey Everman says, "Hi, Chris." She also says, "Small world."
Always is.
Hey
And
KC, what's going
then
on?
you know Casey. How do you know? How do you guys know each other?
Small world.
I've known Casey since wow, 2002, probably 2002. We used to work together at a place called
Really?
Base Financial. Yeah. Yeah. KC, I haven't seen you in a while. Hope things are well with you, darling.
Okay. Well, hey, Casey. Casey says hi.
Hey.
Right? Hey, Casey. Say hi too. I don't know you.
Me
but
too. Hey, Casey.
Yeah,
I
hello,
don't know
Casey.
you. I mean, let's be friendly.
I'm sure we know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who know you,
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah.
Or
Actually,
at least we will by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do have a question. First theater, did any of you guys was like active like in Chicago theater movement, like downtown and on the
Me.
north side?
You know, I almost
me.
did, and then I just moved. But I did do some not central 4-star casting. So I did Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, but that was just background work. But right before I moved.
Yeah, matter of fact, Kay, you know this guy Jesse who used to live with your relatives. He made his own clothes. He was big in the theater design and acting and all that. And he also, when somebody write a play, it's called a reading, I guess. And he took
Playwright?
me a few times.
When they read it, it's called
where the actors read the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here you go. I got the bug again. And this guy was actually a cousin of Prince.
Okay.
I'm like, damn it.
Always happen.
Man.
Yeah, and that gave me a bug of theater, like a passion, man. But man, it's like my parents and everybody else around me stumping on my reality of what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's
You know
okay.
what? You know what? That I feel like that happens. It's almost strange, and I hate to put it this way. It feels like it's almost that way with people of color. Like when you want to shoot for something that huge, it's man. I mean, listen, I currently I'm working on a Stephen King film, and I ran into
We're working on a Stephen King
absolutely.
film. Excuse
Absolutely.
you.
I mean, absolutely. Kay is my producer for sure.
It's exciting.
Thank you. But man, ran into an uncle that I hadn't seen in some time, and he asked me what I'm up to, and I'm like, oh, I'm working on this movie right now. and his face twisted all over the place. I'm like, what do you know about movies?
Oh God.
Damn, like, yo, can I get a benefit of a doubt first? Not a, oh, that's awesome, but what are you doing? Like, and I think that,
Wow.
but to be honest with you though, the sad part is, well, not the sad part, but the truth of the matter is, when you take a second to look at it, I don't blame him at all. That's
No.
that crab in the barrel that's been taught to us
Mm-hmm.
for so
Oh yeah.
long. You know what I
It's
mean?
bad too.
It is, and
It really is.
it'll come from your family. It'll come from
The
whatever. So
most,
yeah,
yeah.
It's gonna come
by all
from them the
means,
most.
And but
you're
most.
hard. Right,
The
right.
most.
So by all means, if you got a
Yeah.
dream to go do something out of the ordinary, man, go do that.
Yeah.
Go do
Yeah.
that. I'll be
Go
the
do
first
it.
person to tell you go
Aubrey,
do
let
that.
me just to piggyback on that. The reason why, I noticed something with me personally. As long as I was asking for like $5 here and $2 there, and as long as I was continuously struggling, and I was doing this, that, and the third, and you know what I'm saying, I was all good. I got way more support from family members, which I have learned that there's a difference between family and relatives. And
Oh,
a
for
lot
sure.
of times,
Mm.
Ain't got to be blood.
you have relatives and not family. Terrence, that's my family. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We're not related at all, but that's my brother.
Right.
Understand
Yeah.
what I'm
Feel
saying?
that. Feel
Because he
that.
has
Feel that.
exhibited more brother family behavior than people that I have a connection, that I have a bloodline with.
Yeah.
So, and the reason being because of that, Aubrey, is a lot of your relatives and people around you, could be your friends. Scotty, what you got going on over there? Would you
He to
stop? It
change the
was
scenery.
perfect. What are you doing,
Absolutely.
boy?
Hey,
In the
I'm
middle
For
of the
sure.
He
broadcast.
didn't went to
Most
What
president.
is
most
going
President.
on
most
I
tonight?
remember
most
This
pre,
people
is
do wardrobe changes. My man's
all
did a
over the
venue
place.
change.
But I'm gonna go
I
with
mean,
it,
like, as I say, I'm a day
bro.
trader.
Like,
You
Oh,
know,
he had to turn on the lights in the bat cave. Apparently, is what happened.
that's
Mm-hmm.
what.
he had to
Uh,
turn on the light so we could see all his shit, y'all.
I know.
Scotty,
No,
I
no,
Bat
need you to
cave.
sit
no,
down and join the broadcast. Okay.
no. I just cut
I'm
the
gonna
light
need you
on.
to
It
sit
was getting a
down
little
and
bit
join the
dark.
broadcast, sir.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Whenever we have, just for future references, whenever you're set, just stay that way. All right. So, Aubrey, the reason being is a lot of people do not think that you deserve what you have right now. You understand
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Fair.
A lot of
Oh, fair.
people feel like you don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to have what you have or where you're going.
Oh,
And it's messed
oh,
up
100%.
because you know what I'm saying? It's your quote quote family. Oh, we lost Scotty. See? All that moving he was
See,
doing.
but you know what
Continue,
though? I
guys.
mean, the thing about that is also, we're also talking about an older generation. This is a generation of people where, like, what I'm saying, a job behind the counter at Marshall Fields was glamorous. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right.
Yep.
So how dare I, what I'm saying, coming from that, decide I want to be bigger than everything you've ever thought was possible.
Right.
When
How
you
dare
do
you?
that,
How
when you do
dare
but
you?
when you do that, what you do is, those people that crab in the barrel mentality, what happens is they have to take a look within and be like, damn, what am I doing wrong? If you can just, you know what I mean? And that's where a lot of that hate comes from too.
Mm-hmm.
Because then
Mm-hmm.
Not
they're
mad with you. They just mad at
no, just
themselves.
mad.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and and that's okay for them, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, for the future generations, when kids come to you and be like, yo, I want to go to the moon, man, foster that, because they might let them,
You
give
might.
them a shot.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
You might.
Exactly. Because
Yes.
yeah.
All right, guys. So
I
let's get
actually
into the heart. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My
no
audio is delayed,
no
so I apologize, baby. Go ahead.
oh that's okay. I was just saying that I grew up in a home where anything was possible.
That's
You
awesome.
know,
Mm.
It's a blessing.
my mother told me that. My father told me that. Well, actually, my mother told me that. My father said life is gonna be hard, so you need to go ahead and learn how to block some punches because they
Love
coming.
that.
Right.
And mom was like, everything is going to be sunshine and lollipops, and you can have anything you want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my father was
Yeah.
like, son, you're gonna get your ass kicked. So
Mm-hmm.
you need
Hey,
to prepare for that.
Okay.
Needed
So
both.
Okay.
I got both of them, and so I was
yeah,
aware of what was going on and how everything was going to come together in order to get to I would say that my meteor is still rising. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there was a time
Mm-hmm.
where I wasn't even in the industry, and
Mm.
because I've been acting since like age 16.
okay.
Um,
Oh.
and I was doing, and matter of fact, it started before they're doing plays, but playing plays as in grammar, elementary school and stuff like that. But that stuff don't count. So
Mm-hmm.
as I got older, life happened. So I had to stop my dream and get a job because I had to take care of the family. And so that was the part that my father was talking about. This,
Hmm.
blocking and stuff like that. And what happened after that is that, to make a long story short, is I came back to that and still got a chance to pursue my dream before they closed that door and that casket on me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
got to make the
Amen.
best of it.
Amen. I just want to let's go back to some of these comments. Um, you know, let me just say this. Last week, I didn't think that my show went so well, right? And so, when someone asked me, oh, my boyfriend said, well, he always asks me after, um, my show, my guy. Did I say boyfriend? My guy.
Mm-hmm.
He always asks me after the show, how did it go? And I said, well, I thought it went bad. You know what I'm saying? It was a bad show. You have bad shows. He said, well, are you gonna post it? I said, absolutely, I'm gonna post it because why not? You have to, you want to, I want to be as transparent with my viewers as possible, right? So I
Mm.
posted the show anyway. It's like no matter why would you post what I'm gonna do? Post all the good ones and don't post the bad ones? That's phony as
Right.
shit. No,
No,
post them all.
yeah,
And so tonight I wasn't gonna read all of the comments, but that's phony as hell. So I'm gonna read all of them and we're gonna address all
Mm-hmm.
of them. So
let's
Casey
go.
Everman said,
Hey, dude.
"Small
Yeah,
world."
dude.
Kalama at Amun-Ra said, what is going on with his voice? I have no idea who he's talking about. I responded and I said, Kalai, this live is so crazy because it is. The energy is just nuts. I have no idea what's going on tonight. I know it's September 11th, so the networks might all be kind of like
Mm-hmm.
shitty. I don't know if you've noticed if your phone has
Yeah, it's
been kind
possible.
of shitty today. My mom, I've noticed it's September 11th, blah, 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 blah. But then he comes back and he says, please have real black men speak on black me. I spelled EYE, love and respect you, but these men here do not represent, with an S, the future. And
Oh.
so,
Really?
my response, let me respond first because ladies first,
Yes,
right?
please.
Brother Kala, I love and respect you too. But what do you consider real black men? Because all of these
Mm.
men are real black men
Yeah.
because they're black men
Mm-hmm.
and they're
I
my
mean,
men and they're my real black men.
Mm-hmm.
And speak on black me. I don't even understand what you're saying at this point.
But he's not
These
even
men here
here.
do not represent the future. Excuse me, sir. Terrence, this is I got the floor now,
Okay,
sir.
go
When I
ahead.
give you your floor, you can
Okay,
have the
I'ma
floor.
take it.
But I have
Okay,
the floor now, sir.
go
Brother
ahead.
Kalai, you said that these
Mm-hmm.
men do not represent the future. And what you don't know is that this
Mm-hmm.
is your future because you are looking at 4 of the most innovative filmmakers in the history of the planet. So
Mm-hmm.
the next 15 to 20 years of
Mm-hmm.
television, film,
Mm-hmm.
and movies, this is the future, boo. This is what we finna do. This is what we do. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is the future. We are the future. And how dare you come on my platform and disrespect anyone on my show? I cannot have that, brother. Because they're just like you, my brother, these my brothers too. Regardless, they wouldn't be on my show if they weren't my brothers. So I resent that statement. You have a great night. From Facebook, we have Lisa Aquarian Diva Mackey. Is that your mama, Terrence?
Hey, that's my TT.
Hey, TT.
That's my
She
TT.
she says, love this. You deserve it all. We want it and we deserve it all. Good job, guys. And Mrs. Dixon. TT, I'm a spoken
Thanks,
for
TT.
woman. I'm Ms.
Ms.
Dixon. But my
Okay.
Mrs. somebody else. But now I'm going to go back to my brothers, Chris Greer. You are... Please have real black men speak on black me. I love respect you, but you do not represent the future. You are not a real black man, sir. I need you to respond.
Uh-oh.
I got one thing to say to Mr. Khalil. Google
Kala,
me.
Kala,
Oh.
Kala,
Whoa.
Kala. Kala.
Google me.
Google me.
You heard
Google me.
that? Period.
Next.
And that's
Google
that's it. Brother Terrence Mackey,
Google me.
you are not a real black man. And you do
Apparently
not
not.
represent the future, sir. I'm gonna need you to respond.
Yeah. Okay. So I did only have one statement at first, but you talked to me off the K.
Chris took it.
Thoughts.
Chris took it.
Yes. Well, no, you can't Google me yet. I'm gonna get that with you, Chris. Well,
Yes,
you can
we
Google
can.
me. You can Google
Yes,
me.
we
My
can.
face
Yes,
will
we
pop
can.
up. But
we can Google you. Yes, we
but
can. Because
my
you were in that nigga one,
I
and you
was
were in some other things that Dixon Entertainment did. So
yeah.
where Dixon Entertainment's name is, so is
Terrence will
yours.
be.
Usually your name is associated with mine, sir.
Yeah. So it's Googleable, if that's a word.
Google
It
me.
is. It
But
is. And if it ain't, it is now.
it is now because I'm a black man.
It's
Look, we've been
lookable.
making rules up
And making plans for
and
future.
making plans for future. My thought process when I first heard that was just like, but he's not here though. The point that you had was that you wanted to talk to the black men, and the one that
From
that
Chicago.
is not on the panel to represent, I guess, for all of us since we all the same. But yeah,
Y'all
so
not
that
real.
was good. We not real, but this is the small tidbit that I do want to say, and that mindset, I kind of understood where he was coming from, just because, not that I agree, understood because I come from a family, and I'm sure everybody could attest to the uncles, the daddies. Well, Mr. Greer, you have a great father for what you know what I mean. But a lot of black people from, I don't want to say just the hood, I'm sure in well-to-do black households, they all have a thought process of that way, and that is kind of the sort of the thing.
Contain himself.
I know, right? So that's kind of where I understood what he comes, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't a real. Oh, this is just a little story. So I remember when I was younger. Remember I told you guys I played football for 4 years. I was terrible at it. I played with my cousins. We all played for the Stager, like Wildcats, and then like Glenwood Cougars.
Using the bathroom.
Well, normally he unmiked, but I don't know. So I remember vaguely, me and all of our cousins, I was in the same like age range. One of my older cousins and his son, he was like Terrence. Well, his son is a beast on the field. Basically, like his son is great at football. And then when he looked at me and said, "But Terrence is a dancing boy," like that. He a dancing boy. You don't know nothing. Now, I've been playing football.
Boy.
You a dancing boy. And I'm like,
and you know
I'm
what,
a kid.
Terrence?
I was a kid, but I felt, and I'm like, oh Lord, it's diminishing me again about what I now, because what if I'm softer or what I'm not black enough?
We just had this conversation.
I can't provide now. It doesn't make me less than. I still know how to provide. You should see how I run my household. I don't play. I brings the bacon, okay? I grinds like any other black man that I guess the quote unquote is supposed to be the power. So I understood what he's saying, but you are absolutely wrong, because we all are different.
Wrong.
And when we start to realize that that's what's going to keep us separated, and why you see a lot
Wrong,
of
wrong.
violence in Chicago now. If you correlate what he just said to the violence in Chicago, is
Wrong,
black
wrong.
men not seeing each other as
Yeah.
worthy enough to, you know what I mean? Oh, you less than, or you GD, you 4CH, you vice, you know what I mean? So I kill
Come
you.
on, let's talk
That
about
ain't
it.
how that work right there. You respect me as another black man, no matter what position
No
I
matter
have, you know
what.
what I mean? Where I'm going or what I done, if I'm a thespian, if I'm a lesbian. It's my prerogative and I'm still black.
I like
I'm
that.
still
Put that
black.
on a
You know
shirt.
what I mean? It's gonna be what it's gonna be at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you, sir, in respect as I can, is the black man that I have prayed to not be, because I saw it in my own household as well. And they tried to beat me into submission, and it just
Come
doesn't
on.
work that way. Because when
Come
God
on.
says yes, nobody can say no. And I'm gonna be a black man
Come
that's
on.
going to be on TV, that's going to employ millions of black people. Tyler Perry being one of them. People call him, he ain't a real black man. He's employing more black people than any
He's a
other black.
billionaire
You know, he's
now.
a
And I
billionaire. So
guarantee you he
you
I
can't
guarantee you
say
he doesn't lose any
he
sleep
doesn't lose
over
any
anything
sleep
that
over
anyone is
anything.
saying.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I respect your opinion, but we have to quit that mentality, especially in the Midwest,
We
especially
do.
Chicago. That's
We do.
exactly how a
We
lot of us are
do.
killing each
We
other.
do.
And a lot
We
of people,
do.
if I was really insecure, how some people commit suicide. So that's a whole nother topic, because a lot of black men have not expressed themselves in the ways that they're supposed to. I actually just made a post about
Aubrey
that.
is holding on by strings.
I know, right? I
No, I mean,
just made
no,
a post
no,
about
no.
that.
I'm
I just made a post
super
about
cool.
that, about letting our children, when you see the characteristics in your children, feed off that. Don't try to beat them into the characteristics that you want, because we're losing a lot of black, you know what I mean, people
Mm-hmm.
who are afraid of their own race,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, who try to go out and not be proud of being black because they see so much abuse on trying to beat something out of our men and our women. Like you say, Kate, it happens in females too. You should be a nurse, you should be a whatever the case may be, learn how to sew, cook some, you know what I mean, like it happens.
Yeah.
But I really don't, I
Yeah.
didn't like the statement too much, but he's not here to defend himself, so we see where
That's
where
fine. And
those black
that's
men
fine.
is. And I'm
But
allowed here in the
and
Florida,
that's
Aubrey.
and yeah, go ahead, Aubrey. Lord.
Um. All right.
Come on, Mr. Murray.
So realistically, I can't lie to you. For like a hot second, I really wanted to respond to this, and and my response has changed since. I guess my question is this, and really the only thing I'm going to say to directly address what his name
The
was.
right, whatever.
Um, only thing I'm going to say to address that is, what is a real black man?
Mm-hmm.
Because real
Yeah.
talk, black, brown, green, red, purple, blue, or otherwise, I'm a man first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Come
mean?
on.
And the whole idea of the real black man, because I mean, at the end of the day, dude, you're on the other side of the camera watching me.
Mm-hmm.
Done there. I'm done there. I'm done there. I'm done there. Like, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. You're on the other side of the camera watching us talk about what we're talking about. Either be a part of the solution or move
Mm-hmm.
to the side because you're a part of the problem. And the part of
Problem.
the problem, that's the past. So that's not representing the future that you so wish you could have represented here.
Yeah.
You're still on the past shit. The thing he's talking about is the same thing that was in, again, that's that crab in the barrel, pushing to us in
Mm-hmm.
slavery, pushing to us in the 60s, push to us in the 50s, the 40s, whatever time period you want. Well, let's live for now and start working towards the future. I thought that's what we were here to talk about to begin with. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We're talking about
Exactly.
ushering in something new, the new. We're at a point right now in this country where we could not be more separated as a people.
Yep.
And if
Completely. Completely.
completely, and we
Completely.
can do one of two things. We can either let this continue to burn and just burn until it's gone, or we can do the Phoenix thing and rise out of this something brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to
Come
move
on.
forward. We have spent so much time. I mean, I used to work in the school system, so I
Mm-hmm.
know we spend so much time talking about how the milk is spilled, but we'll never talk about how to clean it up. So meanwhile,
Come
we're
on.
sitting here talking, trying to be progressive, and my man's is like, "You're not real black men. You don't represent me."
What is a
Well,
real black
exactly.
man? That's what I'm
What is a
trying to
real black
figure out.
man?
Like,
But
and plus, it's a
explain.
platform from black men from Chicago. So, and
Well,
the purpose of the show is to have people from all walks of life. It just
Mhm.
so happened that the gods would have it that it's for people,
Mhm.
four of us in the
Mhm.
film industry. You see what I'm saying? Because
right.
trust and believe, y'all saw all the people that I invited. Y'all was in the thing. But the
Mm,
gods would have it that it's four of us, and we're all in the film industry on this live tonight.
right.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
supposed to be like that, but nevertheless. Continue,
Yeah.
Well,
Aubrey.
and just to really like to be able to say that anybody here is not real for whatever reason, like, and
Right.
have zero account of who they are. um I can tell you myself, I spent a large part of my life dedicating it to children and trying to help them be
Right.
better. um I my
Real
whole
black man.
message, real man, listen,
Real black man.
I've been a coach, I've been a mentor, I volunteer
What's
my
the
time,
right?
you
Real
know.
Let's
black
look that
man.
up.
So
Hold on.
so at the
Y'all
end of
keep
the
talking
day,
because I'm gonna break it down for y'all. I'm gonna find out
so
what a
at the
real
end of the
black
day,
man
you
is. Keep
know,
talking.
I spend my time, you know what I'm
Real.
saying? I've been the mentor to young black men whose fathers aren't around. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
And to this day, these are adults now that'll still call me for advice. So as far as being a real black man and talking about the future, man, if not the kids, what else is the future?
Right.
Right.
Again,
Because we don't know exactly, but he's done.
yeah.
He's just
Oh no,
he's
no,
throwing rocks.
this ain't even about him no more. I'm not even talking about him
Just
no
in
more. That's what I'm
general,
Throwing
saying.
rocks
yeah.
at the
I'm
window.
just talking about in
Yeah.
general
Right.
because there are a whole bunch of people that feel that way and will tell
Right.
you, you know, you're not real. And I mean, and then okay, just because I got petty is itching. Are we just not real black men because we are speaking in English and whatever he was texting wasn't?
Was he doing? Was he doing it?
Possibly.
Was he
Ooh.
missing his R's? Okay.
Oh
On
my
his
ours,
was
man,
he
he was adding letters and
and
deleting
letters?
letters, and there was words that weren't actually words. So I'm just saying, but that's cool. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I won't do that one again.
Well, it's okay.
That's
Petty was
okay.
itching at me. I had to get him.
That's in a
Uh,
black man too. It's
so,
okay.
hey, listen. Sometimes I had to. Sometimes you got to get him, and I had to get him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, we are too often pulling each other back and
Yeah.
saying what we are not. I mean, we just got through talking about that, saying what you are not going to be, saying what you can't be, saying what you don't do, and what you.
We
How do you
just said
know
that.
I
We
don't
just
represent you?
said
You
that.
know, how do
We
you know I
just
don't
said
represent
that.
you?
Like literally
What,
just said that.
and to be
Right.
honest with you,
So
and to be honest with you, if I don't represent you, you know, with the panel of people that I'm here with, if this panel doesn't represent you, cool, because I'm not really trying to be with the people that you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
That you represent.
like if that's the type of if this is not the type of people that you strive to be around, you know what I'm saying, trying to look to do something better and different and build, if that's not who you want to be around, then you're right. I guess I don't represent you, and
we don't
by
represent
all
you.
means,
You don't
find
represent
the
you.
rocks to kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. So going back to our comments, Lisa Mackey says again, say that then. Sometimes we are our worst enemies.
We are.
Man,
Do too
in your
much
own
tearing
way.
down and not loving each other in the present.
Yeah.
Lisa also says, I see black kings in the presence. And then
Mm-hmm.
she says, hello, Miss Dixon. Hey, TT. And then she comes back
TT.
and says, we bring our own power. We bring our own power. We have our own talent. Don't diminish my craft and skill. And then she turns around and she says, come on now, Mr. Aubrey, say it with your chest. So, Aubrey, you got to
All
say
the
whatever
time.
you were saying with your chest. Now, while you
Mm-hmm.
All
all
the
were
time.
talking, I just did a little research because you all know I'm a lover of words. I'm a writer. So
Yeah.
real, the word
Mm-hmm.
real means
Come on,
it is an
missionary.
adjective.
Mm-hmm. To describe.
You know, I'm so sick of y'all coaching folk. You Y'all don't call me
You the
evangelist. Y'all don't
evangelist,
call me
mother,
missionary.
missionary, sister. Come on, we got a list.
Real, the word real is an adjective.
Uh-huh.
And it means
Mm.
actually existing as a thing or occurring in fact, not imagined or supposed. It's probably
Mm.
supposed, but I said supposed.
Pozotic.
Of
I
a
love it.
substance or a thing, not imitation or artificial and genuine. You, my dears, are real
Real.
black men. Now
I
let's
mean,
go
this
to
don't
what
wash off.
we supposed to be talking about.
This ain't a paint job, yo.
Right. I
I've
can't
had the
wipe it off.
same damn
I
Now
know
clothes
I'm
let's
on.
get
I know I'm
now
light
let's
skinned, but I ain't that
You know what I'm
look
saying?
now.
It's cool.
My mama chocolate just as
all
K.
right.
You see
So
my
let's
mama K. Okay.
I've seen your mama.
She
I've seen your
chocolate,
mama.
okay.
I've been there for Christmas dinner and all
Christmas,
that.
yeah.
That's my brother. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
now here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Our experiences with the Chicago Police Department growing up
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago. Now, I want to say, as a black female growing up in the city of Chicago, I have encountered black women police officers, I have encountered black men police officers, and I have encountered white male police officers. Have I ever encountered a white female police officer? Not that I can remember, as far as like being stopped by or being involved with. And I'm gonna tell you all, the white and this is gonna sound whatever, but the coolest ones have been the white men. The worst ones have
Mm.
been the black women.
Mm.
And the black men just wanted to get my number. They always let me go.
Well, that's
So
obvious.
I have been I have
You know
been
how many people just lost their
harassed
job?
by black women female officers. The white male officers try to work with a sister. You know what I'm saying? Usually they let me go. Like whatever I was doing wrong, I promise to God, usually they let me go. They say, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Dixon, go ahead on about you. You know what I'm saying? But them black women,
Mm.
something else.
Mm.
Chris, what has been your have I been harassed? I think I talked about that. Yeah, I have been harassed, but it was by black women police
Wow.
officers. Chris, what has
Well,
been
well,
your experience with the police in the city of Chicago?
well. I grew up during the time of Officer Friendly. Officer Friendly used to come to the
Okay.
school when grammar school, and Officer Friendly was always a white guy, and he came in and he said, "Hey,
Mm.
don't do drugs. Cross at the corner. Da 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 da. Woo da woo da woo." And what we did is like, "Ooh, Officer Friendly." And so as I got older,
It was like a
and
commercial.
yeah, so as I got older, and it
Mm-hmm.
went to from grammar school to high school. When it became high school, it turned to a different thing because that during that
Mm-hmm.
time, back in the '80s, I'm not going. No. I'm sorry. High school, the '70s and the '80s, the early '80s. Because I'm proud to be 65 years old. Several years.
Amen.
Congratulations,
So
man.
Hallelujah.
Hey,
Okay.
I know a lot of people ain't make it this
hey.
far,
Hey
Nope.
man,
but
it's
Come
hard when
on,
you young
talk,
couple.
sir.
yeah. So the thing is that when I became, I would say a young teen, I started experimenting with things. Started experimenting with cigarettes, with marijuana, with drinking, and I wasn't allowed to drive until I graduated from high school, and uh, and so I used to I used to have problems with the Caucasian cops, males
Mm.
would have problems with me because I think it might be because I got a little flip mouth because I went to school, I went to college to become a lawyer. I was
Mm.
a political science major, emphasis on pre-law at Bethune-Cookman University. So therefore,
Oh, you too, huh, Chris?
I had So I had the mouthpiece, and I knew the law. So when you take the law and you put it in their face, then then they might like, oh, let me back off a little bit. But that pisses me
Mm-hmm.
off because you know
Yeah.
too much about the law. Now, when it comes to black female officers, I ain't had no problems at all.
Well, that's deep as
Exactly
that bass
right.
behind him. Okay,
Exactly right.
I got.
Exactly.
that's what the
I
guitars
tell.
is for. That's
I
what the
tell
Exactly.
you
guitars
this.
and bass are.
Exactly.
I tell you this.
Exactly.
I
Right.
got off every time.
Man.
Every time.
That's
Very
what's up.
good.
Every time.
Very
Hey,
good.
Every time.
That's what's up.
Every single time. And got a
Yeah,
phone
but
number. And I'm going to call you. And come to my court
no,
date. And
no,
tell
I
them
wouldn't
this,
say
that, and
all
the
that.
third. Every
I wouldn't.
single
I
time.
wouldn't say
I
all that.
promise you.
But I mean, because you already had
Well,
all my
I'll work my
information.
number.
They got the badge number 2, just so they know
Mm-mm.
who the reference.
Yeah,
Man.
but other than that,
I'll work
when it
my
when it
number,
came to
baby.
Caucasian women
Yes.
would be on the fence because they don't know exactly how to handle me.
Yeah. How to play
That
it.
makes
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
How to play it because he's like,
Yeah.
you know what? He is talking. He's talking like he knows what he's talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
with the underlying factor of
Mm-hmm.
racism just being blatant, she doesn't know how to handle me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what she usually does is she calls for
Mm-hmm.
backup. She calls for
Yeah.
backup.
Mm.
You know
Because you
what?
know she wants
Hey,
you.
hey,
Okay.
Leroy, could you come? Could you come to 79th and jump me right quick?
Man.
Not Leroy,
I,
Lord.
I
Because
think
I
I need
don't
a
know
little
which
bit of
way
backing.
is laying with this brother.
Mr. Leroy Johnson, could you come to
Mm-hmm.
79th and adjust me right quick
Officer
because
Jackson.
I don't know what might be going
Yeah.
on right quick.
Yeah.
So she wants some backup
And,
because she she looks at my address
Mm-hmm.
and I'm from South Shore via Bronzeville. I
uh-huh.
grew up on 47th in Champlain. I moved from there to 79th in
Okay.
Euclid. And then from there, I'm out here in the
Mm-hmm.
south suburbs, kind of like, relaxing, taking it easy, trying to bring the blood pressure down. But
Man.
other than that, growing up as a kid in the inner city,
Mm-hmm.
come on, we came in contact with those types of things, and we had to, and
Yes, we
luckily
did.
enough,
Yes, we did.
my parents instilled in me that they gave me the talk back then
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
other than
Mm-hmm.
see,
Yeah.
I think I might be the elder statesman on this panel right here. I was born in 1964,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and so I remember when King got killed. I am the
Wow.
last year of the baby
Mm.
boomers. So
Wow.
I'm 1964
Wow.
is the last year of the baby boomers. I'm the last baby boomer, and the thing
Wow.
is that I'm not that old, but I've seen a
Seen a
lot of
lot.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of stuff, and back when in the '60s and the early '70s and stuff like that, we were just coming off of Vietnam. We were just coming off the Vietnam, which was just ending.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 1968 is when the what we call it, the thing that we were trying to the Voting Rights Act was 1968.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, people
Mm-hmm.
couldn't vote when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. Okay, they had to enact a
Damn.
law in order for
That's tough.
black people to work. I mean, not I'm sorry, to vote and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like
That's
that.
tough.
Back when I was 4 years old, and I was watching TV, I knew what was going on. I remember all the way back until at least I was like 3 or 4 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
so so I've lived and I've seen a lot of things. I've
Mm.
it's and what I have actually picked up during this time is that
Wow.
number one, people do what they want to do.
Yeah.
People act the
Come
way
on.
that they've been trained to act.
Yes,
And number
yes,
three,
yes, yes,
sometimes you can't
yes.
do a damn thing about it. So you have to take those three things into consideration
Most
before you act.
times.
Yeah.
Before
Mhm.
you act, you
Mhm.
got to take all those three things into consideration, because if you leave one of those out, you might be making a mistake, or it may cost you your life.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all I got.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's enough, baby. Terrence.
All right. So, me on the younger end, I was born in '93. I, I know, right? So being 27, I haven't really experienced. You know what I have with the police, but nothing as far as like anything like I was like really fearful. I mean, being in the car with my mom, I remember I've never
Mm.
been encountered with. This is interesting that I can remember. I've never seen a woman black cop before. I've never even seen it. Like I
Really?
seen more like yeah, more like I've worked with someone who worked in like in the prisons. Like a lot of times they were like the correctional officer
Mm-hmm.
type thing, but I've never met a black woman
Right.
officer before. I've been since I've been in LA, I got pulled over by a black cop and he tried to degrade me. He like wanted to like take me to jail for speeding. I was speeding really fast. Y'all don't
Tell
ask me
us.
how fast I was going. I was doing double the
But in
speed
LA,
limit.
they
Just
can't
better.
drive no
They
way.
can't drive no way, but
So
and it was 6 a.m. So you know, in the morning that early, nobody really out. Like I was
all
just
them
not
lanes,
missing
and they
before it
still
was at
can't
7,
drive.
and he still could. Right. So he took me out the car. I was just for speeding, and he had me on the curb, not sitting but standing. But he wanted me to come like step all the way away from my car, and you can tell he was doing an ego thing with me, like trying to make it look like
So did
he
you
was doing a whole
stop?
lot.
Did you have your license?
I had everything. I'm insured,
Did you
full
have your
coverage.
insurance?
Yeah, I had
So what
everything.
was the point of him? Why did what what caused him to say, "Sir, please step out of the car"?
I was okay. I guess I tell y'all I was doing 70 and a 30. Okay, so that'll that'll probably do it.
Wow.
I get
So
it.
he thought you was
You had to get there. You
thought you was
No,
absolutely
trying to
had to
get
get
a
there.
drunk
I
or
was no
something, or
literally. I
like,
was going to work. Something that black men do.
and you were
I
late as
go to
shit.
work, and I was. You know what? Not in shit though. I was about. I would have been 3 minutes late because I was making it. I
Oh yeah,
burst. I'm from the Chicagoland area. We
man,
drives,
you gonna get
okay.
there. You gonna
I
get there.
drives,
We
okay.
drive.
If I didn't get called by him, I would have been there like 7. I was supposed to be there at 7. I woke up at 6:43. I was out the house by 6:50.
Oh.
Yes, I brushed my teeth, everybody. Brushed my
Mm-hmm.
teeth, washed my face. That's all I could fit in. I knew what my uniform was, and I left out the house by 6:50. It normally takes 15 to 17 minutes to get there, but because it was so early in LA, I had the lanes kind of free. So I would have got there like
Right.
7:02. I got there like 7:37 now. So I was really in trouble. So he got
Uh,
behind me. Oh, you doing double the
mm-hmm.
speed limit. The law in California, if you going 2 times speed limit, I'm supposed to take you to jail. Me from Chicago, I'm like, you're gonna take me to jail for speeding? Do it look like I'm drunk? I'm not high. I have a uniform on at 7 a.m. I was
I
literally
didn't
right
even know
by
that
my
that was a
job.
thing in LA.
That's what he said. In LA, the law is if you're going 2 times the speed limit, that's I can take
We
you to
got to
prison.
check that out.
Hey, good to know because I got a
But
heavy foot, yo.
me too,
That's
me
true.
too.
It's like that. It's
Me
true.
too.
And,
It depends on how fast you were
and how
going.
fast I was
I think they
going.
also do that in Indiana.
And I got a
Yeah,
thing for fast cars, yo. I got a that's
yeah. I drive a Volkswagen Jetta.
I drive like a
That's
maniac.
fast. Jetta.
I was driving
Jetta.
a Jetta, but he stopped me. A black man. Now I was thinking, okay, on the first look of him, oh, that's like that could be my uncle, my granddaddy, some. Oh no, he told me, can you step out the car? I'm in my whole uniform. He takes me in the back of my trunk,
Black
but he
guy, right?
a black older guy. And so I'm like, I'm so sorry I was speeding. You know why I
Mhm.
pulled you over? I knew I was speeding. So I'm like, okay, speeding, whatever case may be. I'm expecting a ticket so I can go. Because at the end of the day, another black characteristic trait, I take responsibility for what I did, okay? I'm a real black man. I don't gotta lie. I do you know what I mean?
Real black men.
Real black men tell the truth. Not all of us lie. Okay. I was like, I'm sorry. I just apologize, but I am late for work. Oh, you work around here? I'm literally around the corner. where I was working at the time, they give the officers free breakfast. You get the free, where I work. You know what I mean? So it's no point of you asking why I have the uniform on. I'm obviously late. All right, well, I'm gonna take you in. Take me in. I'm like, what do you take me in now? At this point, he walking around me. He's writing stuff down, but he's like holding his belt and looking at the traffic. Like he's like trying to humiliate me. Like, you know what I mean? Like
That's why you
he's
stayed there
not.
for so
He's
long.
he taking his time. I'm like, this don't normally take this. I'm like, is it any other thing? So I had to talk like I'm on my way to work. Look, guy, like you can follow me to work. You can talk to my manager, but I'm like, you know what I mean? Okay, well, I'm just gonna give you a ticket or whatever the
I,
case may be. He comes in the next day. I had to tell everybody that I'm not serving him because that was real. I don't know, okay, if I can say this. It was some coon stuff. I'm like, out of all people, you gotta act like this. To me, I'm a
no, you
young
can
dude
say
trying to work.
this
Okay,
is a
so
platform in which you can say what you need to
yeah,
say.
it
That's
just
the
really
point.
pissed me off because I'm just like, I'm a black young brother working, and I'm just trying to make it work. Okay, I was speeding. It was reckless, whatever the case may be. Give me my ticket so I can go. He come in the job for free food after that.
So I
And
can
I'm
go,
like, I'm not
sir.
about to serve you. That was one instance with the black cop. Another instance with the white cop. I was out in Homewood, so it's in the middle of the night. I'm not driving, but
Wow.
my somebody else is. Unfortunately, that person was driving with no license and no anything, so they had to tow the car. I could go
Mm-hmm.
home free. I couldn't drive
Mm-hmm.
the car because I ain't have my license. They pat me
Mm-hmm.
down, even though they were arresting my friend.
Hmm.
Mm.
But they pat me down and told me to get in the back of the car. He feeling on my privates. Now this is a maybe a Hispanic cop, kind of, sort of, but he feeling on my private parts on my butt. I'm like, is that necessary? You may have a knife. I said, I may have a knife. At
Down
all
there.
things down there. Why? I don't even know why you pat me down. Like, and you think
I'm
I'm
not
using a knife?
putting nothing sharp next to my
I
dick.
was, I was coming from the show. I was coming from the movie thing. He like, you could be anything. Now, Kate know how I dress. I don't dress like I dress at H&M, fashion over, whatever the case may be. I had a trench coat on that was high fashion. I had boots from Jack Threads or something. So it was like, do I look like I got a knife to stab you? And at all things, that's what you're gonna say, a knife. But I was like, I don't know what. But he put me in the back of the car, and I was just so annoyed. So that was but he was like Hispanic because Homewood kind of binds with Chicago Heights in a way. And if anybody know familiar with Chicago Heights, is a lot of
Mhm.
Hispanic cops and
Yeah.
everybody. You know what I
Hispanic
mean? So it's
and white.
and white.
Yes.
So that was that time. My mom got pulled over, and she was patronizing my mom from a white woman, and was saying, and I was being taught how to drive, and my mama accidentally forget to change the sticker on the plates, so she pulled over for
Mhm.
that. And my mom is trying to explain, like, no, I genuinely forgot it. I just got in the mail. It's on my dresser, but he's taking me home. This is my grandma's deathbed, by the way. So we
Mhm.
just going home while my grandma's at the hospital dying. So we kind of in a rush or whatever. And she like, come on, mom, you know better. And my mama like, no, seriously. But she's patronizing my mama. So I'm getting pissed off, and I'm only 17, 18. And I have to tell her, ma'am, look, my grandma is like, literally, if she dies and I'm getting pulled over and you patronizing my mom, I'm gonna have like, you might as well arrest me because this is about to be a problem. And she was just patronizing. She wasn't very nice. I think she ended up letting us go, but never a black woman. But anytime the court system is even worse. I grew up kind of going to Markham Courthouse. If anybody ever heard of Markham Courthouse, the worst. They tell you that you should read the
Oh
city
yeah.
handbooks. Even if the police don't come, they don't throw it out. They still try. Like, it
Mhm.
was just so much corrupt stuff going on in the Markham Courthouse. So
Mhm.
thankfully, I've never had to like actually be like where I was doing like a heavy like, and I never will. But I've never had a really bad experience with the police, and I pray I never do. But I know everybody is testy on both ends with everything going on. You know what I mean?
Especially
Like,
now. Especially
especially
now.
now, the cops is on edge. We on edge with it's
Yeah.
just like a lot. So,
Yeah.
but anytime I have the cops, I really, just because I'm from Chicago, and this is just to be frank, I was just brought up. I don't really like the police. That's just me. And then when
Sure.
you get pulled over, and you know what I know, they steal your drugs just to do them sometimes. They do all type of stuff. And I just be like, you just bothering people. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
Mhm.
but I have not
Mm-hmm.
had the best experience with cops, but thankfully I ain't never had to be Rodney King because my mouth a little slick too, Mr. Grill. So I know, like, all
Man.
right, look,
True.
you doing stupid stuff at this point. But the
And
bigger, the worst worse was with the black male, and he treated me like he was just trying to like kind of like
Put you beneath him.
put me beneath him, like, oh, because you got a
Mhm.
badge and you think you better than me now. And I'm like,
Right.
for speeding. And he was literally, y'all should have saw him, he was walking through this, like, not walking next to me, but looking at the cars passing, holding on to his belt, like with his gun. And I'm just like, what are you doing, just to
Terrence,
degrade me?
was it like
Yeah,
dude on Friday? Like
I just
remember
watched Friday.
when who was that? Was it Friday? No. What's the movie
Boys in the
when
Hood.
they had
Boys
Bernie
in the
Mac
Hood.
on there? He was the was that no, it wasn't Boys.
Oh
Was that
wait,
Boys
no,
in the
that's
No,
Hood?
not
Players
Boys in the Hood.
Club.
No,
Players Club.
Bernie. No. Bernie Mac was. It was Bernie Mac was doing like the parody of the officer, and he was like, "I hate Whoopi Goldberg. I
Oh
hate
yeah,
black
he
people.
will be Goldberg's
Oh,
Y'all
lips.
remember that?
I hate my
I'm
gums because
Y'all,
they black.
yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was sort of like that, literally. Yeah. He was really like putting his power all on it. And I'm just
They
like,
do.
this
They
is
do that.
stupid.
They do.
He
So
do
it
that.
happens.
Yeah.
That
So
it
I mean,
happens. It happens.
that was my thing. And so and it's so crazy is that, ooh, I hate to say it, I am kind of more worried about the black male cops than the white ones
and
sometimes.
I really think that my clone is being. So I just want to introduce my next guest.
Mhm.
I don't know what's going on,
Hey
but you
man.
guys, I want to
What up,
introduce
brother?
Maine, um,
Hey, how y'all doing?
who
Nice
Good.
is
one. Up.
one of my. He's a childhood friend, and so we're gonna just go through all of the questions and all of the stuff with Maine. Thank you for joining us at
For having
this
me.
time. So I just want to say a statement to you, and I want you to kind of tell me how you feel when I say it. So the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. How do you feel when I say that? First of all, I'm sorry. Let's go back. I need you to tell our viewers who you are, um, your occupation, what side of town you live on, and your relationship status. And then I'll go into the question.
Okay, I'm Maine. Um, I am a entrepreneur, but when I'm working a regular job, I'm a truck driver. Um, I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I'm married.
So sorry.
Very good,
Awesome.
Southside.
So when I say, I want you to think of this statement, like I want you to tell me how you feel when I say this statement, and I'm going to repeat it again. So the black man, or the original man, is the Asiatic black man, maker on a cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. How do you feel when I say that to you?
Feel like next level elite thinking, black power.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, there was a statement, and it's probably irrelevant to you,
Hmm.
because you weren't on the panel, but we had some very positive comments on here. And then we had one guy come on here and he said, please have real black men speak on black me. I love and respect you, but these men here do not represent the future. And I know you ain't had nothing to do with it, but I'm going to put you in it, and I need
Mhm.
Hmm.
you to respond to his comments. Because we have Chris Greer, who is a writer, producer, director, actor. It just so
Hmm.
happened that the panel, the gods would have it that my panel ended up with all people in the film industry. We have Terrence, who is a awesome singer, dancer, actor. We have Aubrey Murray, who is a writer, producer, director, actor. I mean, I, I'm impressed by his writing. Like he's a fucking good ass, dope ass writer. And then we have
Hmm.
you, uh, Maine, who you my world. So I just need you to respond to that statement, please, sir.
All
Even though
right,
you weren't here, but I'm gonna put you in it
and
anyway.
repeat the statement again, please.
He said first. He said, "What is going on with his voice?" I don't know who he was talking about. I'm gonna assume he was talking about Terrence. Terrence, I'm picking on you.
I'm assuming.
And
No,
then he
I'm
comes
assuming it
back and he
happens all my
says,
life.
It might have been me. I mean, I get high pitched
Then
sometimes.
he comes
Sometimes I
back
get
and
low. My shit
says,
be all over the place. It could have been me. I take
It's
it.
okay.
It's fine.
It
I'm
might
gonna
have
say
been me
Terrence.
too, because
I
my
just want to
bass
pick
might have
on
been too
Terrence.
low for him. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm gonna pick on Terrence. Then he comes back and says, "Please have real black men speak on black me. I love and respect you, but these men here do not represent the future. And this is a panel for black men in Chicago, and he's from Philly. Nevertheless, Maine, I need you to comment on that because apparently my forum is not of real black men, and they don't
Um,
represent the future.
I think that um, black men come in all, how can I say it, uh, shapes, sizes, or whatever. You know, like there is no one representation of black men. Uh,
Talk,
I
baby.
see three other men here besides myself, and we're all black. Terrence and I are a lighter shade, and Chris and Aubrey are a browner shade, but we're all black. Um, it does there. That's ignorance, you know. Um, that's like that's almost like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being an alpha male, but that's like over the top alpha male-ish, you know. Like we're like I'm just gonna uh if you're not
Mhm.
me, then you're not accepted.
Right.
And that's not how the world flows. That's not how you can't make progress like that. Like, as a matter of fact, let's say that he was to have it his way, right? That
Mm-hmm.
would mean that the individuals in this group here would turn on him. Then
Mhm.
he'd be at the short end of the stick at that point. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's pure ignorance. I don't think that way, and I don't really I don't know any other people, or I don't associate myself with people that think that way. So I can't say that I know anybody that thinks that way.
I do. A lot of them.
Well, unfortunately,
Fortunately.
man, the only
Awesome.
thing that you said
Awesome.
don't the only thing that you said that is unfortunate that I gotta slightly disagree with is that is the way the world flows, and that's why it's in the state that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
I can see that point.
you know what I mean? That is the way the world flows. That's the way it's been flowing, and
been
that's why we're
flowing.
in that's why we're in the spot we're in right now. You know what I mean? It's time to change that flow. It's that thinking that needs to be. You know, we're in especially right now we're in a cancel culture. Cancel culture. This is the time where like that's the type of shit that needs to be canceled. You know what I mean? We need to
Hmm.
kill that mentality. And then move forward. Like you were talking, like you said, growth. You know what I'm saying? Growth is what's important here, and we need to change the flow. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. And Kay,
I
since oh, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Maine,
Terrence.
since you
No,
just
go
came.
ahead.
Okay, since you said you was picking on me, I'm gonna say this, and this is so interesting. I hope Kay get to hear this. I'm sure she'll watch it live.
Yeah.
In reality, because it's funny that she said you pick on me because it's happened all my life. At this point, it's just that like at 27 and getting older, you can't really change what how you talk, what you talk. I used to do the whole, you know what I mean. Sometimes I wanted to. It don't make a difference. It's not me not being who I am. You know what I mean. I can't
Right.
change that. The black man that I was born to be is this one. So um I will say
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
of his thinking and the way that he has, and I've lived with someone like that. I've had cousins and uncles that got the same mentality as him, and this is just the truth. It has now made me not trust black men, and I'm a black man. I cannot be in the same, and this is I'm gonna be really
Mm.
vulnerable, and I'm gonna be really, really just
Mm.
candid. If I'm as a
Mm.
black man, I still respect anybody that's respectful, but anytime I walk into a place that's other black men, I am instantly on edge. I've never not, and this is
Mm.
not just started with his mentality, but like I said, I live with the person that had his mentality, and because the person that was over me was supposed to be a father figure, but was the actions did not depict that. And with that mentality, he now almost broke another black man. You see what I'm saying? He was over
Mm.
me and was supposed to protect me, but it wasn't that because he couldn't get past the mentality that Khalid, whatever his name in had. You know what I mean? And it was almost
Mm-hmm.
beating another slavery form, beating me into submission.
Yes,
And it
absolutely.
just
Mm-hmm.
and it really just made me hate him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then when I saw anybody else that looked like him, it's not pleasant. And to this day I'm still praying on it, and it's the same thing with racism. Not every black man is the same. And so I have to come out of the thing. But
Exactly.
if I'm in a store, if I'm in a restaurant, I do not make contact with with any black man. I'm always better with women.
Mm.
This is just me. Because of his
Mm-hmm.
mindset, and I know the
Mm-hmm.
mindset too well, I can get whatever I want from a black woman. It's so easy. It's like talking to my mom or my TT. Y'all see my TT in the comments. It's so much easier. But
Hey,
my experience with another
Auntie.
black man, I know with another
Right.
black man has been so hurtful. It has been so painful. It has not been pleasant for me to actually get any sound advice from a black man. Anytime a black man is probably telling me something, my reaction is the same as racism. If
Wow.
a
Mm-hmm.
white man try to tell a black person something, the first thing a black person, you don't tell me nothing because you don't know nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not receiving
Right.
anything from the white man or woman at this present moment. I can't learn
Right.
nothing from you.
Ex-
And I'm gonna just speak for Americans that
exactly.
that's what the state of it is. We not looking at our white brethren and sisters
Mm-mm.
as anybody we can learn from. At this point, we taking so much,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the kind of relationship that I have with the black man. You don't tell me that if you don't speak to me, I don't speak to you, and I do not make eye contact because it can have a mentality like that, especially growing up in Chicago. It's been very, very frightful. Now
Especially.
I ain't said I ain't scared now, because I throw hands just the same.
You
But at
from
the end of
here?
the
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I should not have to walk out and be afraid of me. You see what I'm saying? It's the being afraid of me.
Exactly.
No talk. No
I
talk.
should not have no type of fear that I can't trust you, that you won't one say your voice this, and then on top of that, what, shoot me, beat me up, jump me,
Yeah.
whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be. Now that's what
Yeah.
I learned from a black man, and then on top of that, I go and get pulled over from a black officer, and it's the same, like you say, alpha male, but it's anybody can be alpha male, but it's so like it has become just a terrible type of, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
ordeal on how it's come across. Alpha male does not mean abusive. That does not is not what that means. You know what I
Facts.
No.
mean? It doesn't mean that you beat on things that's different than you. It doesn't mean that you beat out, you know what I mean, music and colors and out of your kids. That ain't what that
Right.
means. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you
No.
alpha male with them, if your biggest thing is maybe I am a little passive and you are not a passive man, maybe that may be alpha, alpha. I'm just, I stay my opinion and I may be stubborn. That could be alpha male, but at the end of the day, it ain't beating nobody, and you don't do stuff with aggression. You know what I mean? And that gentleman made me just go back into all of the stuff that I heard in school, then hearing it in my house, and then hearing it from my family, and then it was just like that flow is exactly how it's always been, and it has to break. And I do somewhat see the stuff that we have between us equivalent to racism. I have definitely compared the two. People don't want to think it just because we black on black don't mean it ain't racist in some type of way. Well, maybe not racist, but colorist or whatever you want to do, sexist, whatever the name for it. But it's similar traits as far as black men, black women to black women, to the comparison of white people to black people, as far as superiority
Mm-hmm.
and less than this. You know what I mean? But that's just been my experience. As far as I'm always on edge, like anything is fight or flight. Anytime that
Yeah.
I'm around, so I don't
And
even communicate with black men if I don't have to. Unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
that's sad. And I'm gonna go back to the comments here.
Hmm.
Cindy Nevels, who I believe is in Atlanta. Cindy, how did I
Hey,
come to
Cindy.
Atlanta and did not call you? I totally forgot that you lived in Atlanta. Anyway, Cindy Neville said, which is sad, and I think she was responding to something that you said earlier, Terrence. Lisa Mackey again says to you, Terrence, he does not know your heart, strength, and life. You are an amazing dude, and you have more man-like qualities than the fools who try to degrade you. I
It's
agree,
true.
CC Lisa.
It's true.
Also, Lisa says the male who raised you, Terrence, is less of a man than you are. You have held your own since you were a young boy, and
Mhm.
I believe that with all my heart because you were holding it. You were young when I met you, and I didn't even realize it. And I always told you that you seemed older
Older.
because
Mhm.
you were just responsible.
Yeah, I was.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I wanted to go back to what you were saying about being afraid of black men.
Mhm.
We are taught, um, we are taught to fear black men,
Yeah.
all of us. It's not just white people, it's
Right.
black people as well. When
Yeah.
you're in your car and a black man walks past, what's the first thing you do?
Lock your door.
Come on.
Sometime.
When you, I had to make myself, so you lock your door, and then like as a woman walking, like I take public transportation all the time,
Mm.
so sometimes I'm walking and it's just like when you see a black man or a black male, it doesn't matter what the age, there is just this tension that just,
Yeah.
you get on point. And I
Mhm.
had to train myself to not be in that mentality.
Right.
And I have come out more successful. See, I'm not scared of black men. I don't you'll be walking down the street, it'll be a gang of them, a whole maybe three, four, five
Mhm.
of them, of black men or black teens or
Mhm.
whatever the situation is. And sometimes you kind of want to bug up a little bit or be like, man, you know what I'm saying? You get on your defense.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And I had to, and like you said, you avoid eye contact. But what I started doing, I started looking at each brother in their eyes when I pass and say,
Yeah.
hey, how
Yeah.
y'all doing? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And I get a better response from them because I am a fan of the underdogs. I am a fan of
Mhm.
the ones that the world has thrown away. I am a fan of the black man in America, period. We're going to go back to our comments. Remembering Wholeness from YouTube says, I see five beautiful hearts, love and light. Thank you very much, Remembering Wholeness.
Thank you.
Man, I want to get right over to you. Um, what has been your experience with the police officers in the city of Chicago? I said that I have been harassed by well, what I said was that my experience was that I've had the worst with black women, black female officers, the black male officers just trying to get my number, and the white male officers are the ones who are the most cool with me and have let me go, or are the most lenient, I should say. What has been your experience with the Chicago Police Department?
Well, first, a little bit of my timeline.
Wait.
I fall.
I
Aubrey,
think
I'm
for me,
sorry. I'm sorry. I missed you, Aubrey. I apologize. So I'm sorry. I said that wrong. So we're going to go to Aubrey and then to Maine. I apologize. Go ahead, Aubrey.
Oh, oh, my bad. I thought you were talking to me. You broke up. I apologize. I apologize. Um, but
Because you haven't had
where I
your
was,
say yet, right?
oh, not at all, not at all. I'm patient.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
patient.
Go ahead
If
and then
nothing
Maine.
else.
Yep. Go ahead, baby.
Um, well, so my experience actually, I fall between Chris and Terrence. I grew up in Chicago in the '90s when it was cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was wild. It was wild. I mean, it's wild now. This is how it was in the '90s. Around the town, and I've had it, and it's strange because I've been on multiple sides of it. But as a teenager, it was the white male, Caucasian male. I actually it was at a time where it was cool to walk with your jeans and your Timbs with your one pants leg rolled up. You know what I mean? And I had a cop literally pull up next to me on the street. I've been pulled over walking actually multiple times. And I had a cop pull me over. I had a cop
Wow.
pull me over walking, and he told me straight up, he was like, "Why don't you go ahead and roll your pants leg down before I jump out and harass your ass?" I'm like, Word. That's how we started
Mm.
this. All the way to being an adult now, and like I said, when Terrence was talking about his speeding ticket, I
Very
gotta,
special.
listen. I got a heavy foot, and I like fast cars, man. I drive an Infinity, and it
Oh
goes
yeah.
a
Uh-huh.
coupe, a coupe at that. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So I'm on I go. At any rate, I'm driving, and there were these two young ladies in a Nissan Maxima, and I had kind of driven past them. I wasn't speeding. I was doing 40. Speed limit was 35. So whatever. That speed was fine.
Mhm.
Um, but when I drove past them, in order for them to try to get my attention, they go flying by me. Right? Red light happens. Cop car pulls up behind the two of us. We're sitting side by side. Cop car pulls up behind them. Lights flash. We're sitting there. It's a red light. Cop gets out, walks up between the two cars, tells them to pull over in the parking lot, tells me to pull over in the parking lot. I'm like, for what? Okay, I'll pull over. Fine. She talks to them. She talks to them first. Uh, she is
Mm-hmm.
the officer is Hispanic, and it was so disappointing because she was actually really cute too. Um, she went
Be
to
like
talk to
that.
them. Man, she was bad, yo. So she goes to talk to them, and she talks to them first. I'm just sitting in my car waiting patiently. Now, I've been preconditioned. My car is black. My windows are tinted. I dress like I dress. My music is bumping. Okay, I turn the car off. I roll the windows down. I open the sunroof. You can see inside. I'm not a threat. I'm not running. I'm chilling. Don't even. Let's not have any of those to talk about. Um, and she comes over to me once she's done talking to them. Hand on her gun. She's about and she's about I don't know 5'3". She's a little one, and she's got her hand on her
This
gun.
is a.
She
I'm
wants to,
sorry. You said she's a Hispanic. She's a
yeah, yeah,
Hispanic cop.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Okay.
and she walks up
Go
to
ahead.
me, and you know, I'm accustomed to license and registration. I'm accustomed to. Do you know why I pulled you over? The first thing out of her mouth was, "Whose car is this?"
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Because it
Excuse
can't
me.
be yours.
Right? No, and I understand. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. And I was like, I was like, you mean license and registration? And she got hard. What'd you say to me? Are you trying to get a ticket? I'm like, no, but you asked me whose car is this, and like, if you asked for my registration, you can see my name on the paperwork.
Right.
Right.
So then I asked her why she pulled me over, and she said, "Well, you weren't racing them," and I said, "I'm in a coupe, and they're in a sedan. If I was racing, you think they'd be in front of me? We would be still
Right.
we would still be having this conversation." And she got pissed. Um, but like, I mean, she realized it was her fault. She was cool after that. She let me go. I've had white women. I had a white woman really ready to shoot me. I had a Caucasian officer pull me out of the car, and what he told me was for his safety and mine, he was going to put handcuffs on me. Um,
Wow.
Mm.
I'm fresh out of it. At this point, I was playing semi-pro football, man. I was a lot larger, um, and I had just come out of the gym, and he was trying to put my hands behind me, and that wasn't happening. Everything was tight, and I couldn't do it. And she
Right.
really like pulled her gun. She was like, "He's resisting," and the white guy had to calm her down. Whoa, he's just big, just relax. But like, yeah, she was ready to shoot. Um,
Yeah, I had that problem before, back in the day, but I have that problem no more.
and yeah, I mean, and
Continue.
And man, listen, and it's been it's been like that. But on the adverse side of things, don't get me wrong, I've had great experiences. I have friends and family that are cops. I went to school with people who are police officers now, and they do great things for their community. Black
Y'all
women.
just they just took us out on Facebook. I just want to let y'all know. They just took us out on Facebook. Anyway, go
Uh,
ahead.
Yeah, black women, you know what I'm saying? I've had some, I know some black female cops that do for their community. I mean, they're coaches. They coach Pee Wee basketball and Pee Wee softball, and um, there are two sides to the coin. But for me,
Yeah.
the most negative experiences I've ever had has been Caucasian men, barring that one female officer. Black women have the only black female officer I've ever been pulled over by. I knew her, so it was fine. Um, Otherwise, it hasn't really been black women for me. It's been white males, and through my time. And again, it was Chicago in the '90s. It was cracking. I remember being dropped off. Me and my buddies being dropped off in a neighborhood where we shouldn't have been, in hopes that we didn't make it back to our home. Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
That's messed up.
yeah, I've had that happen. I've
Yeah.
had that happen. We've been dropped off in neighborhoods where we shouldn't be, and they'd be like, "Get out, good luck," you know. Um,
Wow.
but it's that's and it's sad because it really does just become one of those things. You know, I remember
Mm-hmm.
having cops walk up to us and
Normal.
ask me who you running with. Man, it's just me standing here. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, no, it's been that way. It's been that way.
Mm. Mm. That's interesting, especially the part about being dropped off in neighborhoods that, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
Like, just get out. Just
Oh,
get
oh
out.
no,
Like,
push
you know what I'm
push
saying?
out, push out, push out.
Pushed
Get
out.
out the car.
Absolutely.
Get
Absolutely.
out the car.
Let's go to some of
Wow.
the comments really quick. Eddie Catchins, originally from the city of Chicago. I think Eddie is now in East St. Louis, Missouri, somewhere in that area. But he says, K. Dixon, as much as I was out there heavy in the thick of things in the 90s, personally, the only harassment I've experienced was being thrown on the car, being searched because of
Hmm.
hustling on the block. And then he comes back and say, I'll admit in the 90s, I talked reckless to any and every police officer I came encounter with. Unless they pulled up cool and content. If they show me any hostility, I called them out, dare them to out they gun belt down. Well, Eddie, you are a very brave soul,
Man,
and
Very
it's a
brave.
blessing that you are
I'm
still
blessed, man.
alive,
I'm blessed.
my brother. Real talk. That's a
Oh,
blessing.
down in
Maine,
Urbana, huh?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Well, no, he was here. What he's saying is in the 90s, he was here in the city of Chicago. Oh, now yeah, I see it now. He says he's in
Okay.
Urbana now. So, but when he's talking about his encounter with the police, he was in the city of Chicago. He grew up in my neighborhood. So we from the Hunnets.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, man, let's get your experience with Chicago Police Department.
Well, I've had various experiences, some good, some bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it depends on the officer you come across. Um, I've been pulled over for speeding, and I got a CDL. So, like, I'm talking about numerous times, at least 5 different times I've been pulled. Now, I'm not going crazy fast, but I'm speeding, and they'll check my license out. You
Mm-hmm.
got a CDL, man. You got to hold on to these, slow down, and let me go. But there have been instances where I'm doing nothing. Like Aubrey said, you could be walking down the street and they just skirt, hopping out, throwing you on a car, frisking you. Like, I thought this was America. We free. What is this all about?
Right.
So, um, I've had an instance I'll never forget. I was driving in Wisconsin, and I pulled over to let my dogs out. That's about a 3-hour drive to where I was going. So I'm pulled over about a block, maybe 2 blocks off the expressway to let the dogs out. There's this building that's being built. Little did I know it's a bank, but it's still being built. There are no windows, right? So as I'm leaving, I get the dogs back in. I'm leaving. This cop pulls me over, and the first thing out of his mouth, any guns or drugs. And
Hmm.
I
Right.
simply despise that, because do you pull everybody over like this? Is this the question that you ask when you pull everyone over? Or is it just me
Wow.
because of the color of my
Yes.
skin? And so no, there's no guns or drugs in here. He's like, well, what are you doing? What were you doing over there by the bank? And I'm like, what bank? You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't have no windows, and I'm like, I didn't even know what they were
There's a
building.
bank?
And so I'm like, well, I was letting my dogs out to go, and I was like, why is that? Like, is that a crime or something? Like, he's like, well, you know, you're standing outside of a bank. So it was like a long silence, right? Because I'm like,
Because you can't
well,
stand outside of a bank.
it's not even up right now. So he's like,
A bank. It's not a bank.
it's not a bank at this point. It's a building, right? So it's a structure.
Right.
So he says, this was the next part that I really feel like you got something in here. My gut is telling me you have something. I think I'm gonna call the K9 unit out.
Wow.
And
Okay.
at that point, kind of like Eddie, I'm not. I know Ed, and I'm not Ed, right? But at that point, that's when you start to kind of go in with them.
Yeah,
I don't give
you
a fuck
want to
what
Oh
you
buck
do.
yeah.
up.
Call the dogs,
Yeah.
because I'm
Go.
upset at this point. Which is it's not a good thing. I wouldn't suggest that if you're young individuals watching. I would suggest that you don't do
Nah,
that.
especially now,
Uh,
man.
make it through that stop. You never know which way it can go, and you don't want to give
Come
them.
on.
You don't want to add fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Mm-hmm.
long story short, I was let go. They didn't call the dogs. They kept me there for quite a while, but they didn't call any dogs. He let me go, and his exact words were, "I advise you turn around and go back the way that you came, because if you keep heading this way,
In
I'm gonna
other words,
have
take your black ass back to
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah."
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
of course we kept going on about our business, but it's things like that and stops like that that give the police force a bad name. You know,
Yeah.
and sort of like when you come in contact, when I've dealt with things like that numerous times, too many to even go through a name, but when you go through things like that and you come into contact with the police, the first thing you're on defense, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
and
right.
so and so they are like, when they come out and they have their hands on their gun, it's like, this is for my protection. I don't know who you are or what you have. Well, I don't know who you are either, because my experience with you or with police is a negative one. Like I said, I had some good experiences, but the majority is negative. I don't know who you are. Are you a racist? Do you want to have a
Exactly.
reason to kill someone? So I think that number one, this is my opinion. I think that people of the same color should police their own neighborhoods.
Mm.
Yes.
I think that would
That's good.
alleviate some of these things that are transpiring. But to play both sides of the fence, I would also say I don't know if that would be 100%. Like, would our own people still do their job, or you would let everybody go? You know what I mean? Like, would you still police? No. Um,
Right.
but I would rather
Right.
see.
Right.
I would bet my bottom dollar that there wouldn't be this many killings going on.
Now,
I,
I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate with that thing, with what
Okay.
you just said. Um, if you have a policeman that's in the neighborhood that he patrols,
Mm.
that means that
Conflict
the
of
ones
interest.
I'm talking about the real criminals will
Right.
know where he lives.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So that might
I don't mean those that par- live in the same neighborhood, but just of the
right,
same color. Like,
Color black
maybe I'm
people.
from the south side, I'm policing on the west side or something.
right.
You know
Okay,
what I
you
mean?
right. I misunderstood. I actually took a little bit of a license on what you actually said, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you were talking. Well, what I would start saying is that people that live in the same neighborhood, but you're saying people of the same color, which
So
is
Mm-hmm.
the same.
totally, which is different,
Yeah.
and I see how that can work better. That can work better because what happens is it turns into a master slave situation because you have
Mm-hmm.
white people patrolling black people in a black neighborhood.
Come on, talk about it.
So
Exactly.
so So it's kind of
Exactly.
like a master slave type thing. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
if it was a black person overseeing, well, a black person policing a black person in a black neighborhood, it's kind of like a overseer type of situation.
Come on.
so
Come
so
on.
it's like six of one, and a half dozen of the other. I don't mean to shoot down your shoot down what you got to say, but
No, no,
just
you're
a
good.
little devil's advocate on it, because it can work either way as long as it works the right way.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Um, just to
Exactly.
just to touch on that
Oh, go
same
ahead,
thing.
Aubrey.
Sorry, Kay. Just to touch on that same thing real quick.
Go ahead. You're fine.
The crazy thing about that is that's not even like it was like it used to be like that. I have
It
an
did.
uncle. I have an uncle that was like the only black cop, and he was, but he was in a black town. And I mean, and there are places that are like that now. Like where I live currently, you
Mhm.
know, there are a lot of the police force. There's a lot of black people in the police force where I live now, and like I said, these are brothers and sisters doing things for their community. You know what I'm saying? So it could go either way, because the truth of the matter is there's a bad somebody in every profession. Let's be
Yeah.
real. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't color doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. There's a bad somebody in every profession. I
Yeah.
think I think the thing that we can do, the one thing that we can do to try to help fix that issue is better training for these police officers. Um,
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they are human beings and they want to go home, right?
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
and and they're not supermen and women, and they are afraid. Black people are scary. We have always been scary. They make us scary. We're in the
Yeah.
in you know what I'm saying, back in the day, we were always drawn as big black ass monsters. You know what I'm saying? We've always been scary. That shit's been bred into them, just like the things that have been
Big
beat
lips,
into
big
us
nose.
has been pushed into them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We
That's
the
true.
same way,
That's
you know what I'm
true.
saying? They don't, and a lot of them, just like we are, just like we're kind of robbed of our history, we're robbed of our history real strong,
Come
right?
on. Come on. Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir. They
in reality,
don't know
so are
theirs
they. They
neither.
have no idea. They have no
None.
idea how bad their ancestors were. You know what I mean?
Come
They
on.
don't understand. That's why you'll have. I mean, let's be real. We do have allies, like Terrence said. We have white brothers and sisters too that are like on our side,
Mm-hmm.
but and a
Yeah.
lot of them are on our side because holy shit, they had no idea it was like this, because it's hidden
That's
from them
true.
just like it's hidden from us. They get the same bullshit history
That's
book
true.
that we get that tell
Mm-hmm.
us that
That we do.
slaves were
Exactly.
happy and singing and dancing and shit. They get those same history books. So, you know, and no, it's not our job to educate them, but what we do need to do is educate us, because just like that show
Right.
Watchmen taught a whole bunch of white people that the Tulsa bombings happened, unfortunately it taught a whole bunch of black people that shit too, you know
Hmm.
Yeah.
and I think
Mm-hmm.
each one
That's
teach one,
true.
man. Let's educate the world, so and change it, because like Maine said, that situation with the black cops, black cops in the black neighborhoods, Hispanic cops in the Hispanic neighborhoods, Asian cops in the Asian neighborhoods. It used to be like that, and we
Mm-hmm.
stopped it,
Mm-hmm. It
and
did. It
here
did.
we are.
It did. It
I,
did. It
I
did.
think that it
Um.
stopped in our neighborhoods, but not in the Hispanic neighborhoods and not in the white neighborhoods. But in the black neighborhoods, we don't have as many black cops that are that's
Mhm.
watching over our neighborhoods. We just don't.
Well, and again, that's why I
Exactly.
said, in my neighborhood, I'm lucky to be in a neighborhood where I do, you know. But yeah, there should be more, and it's insane that there isn't. But it's hard. Also, imagine being a cop right now, being a black cop right now, watching your people get put down
Yeah.
by the people
Yeah.
you
Or
work
any.
with,
Yeah. A cop. Period. Yeah.
or a cop
Yeah.
period that actually gives a
I,
shit.
Yeah, true. I want to Aubrey and Maine. When you talk about being harassed by police officers, at any point did you all try to retaliate in any way? Like, did you in a legal way? Like, did you all get a badge number? Did you all report the police officers to a higher authority? Did you even know that you could do that, or did you
No.
even feel that, were you even informed that you could, or did you just chop it up as this is just how it is, this is just what they do,
Hmm.
and keep it pushing?
Yeah, it was just the way it was for me. I had no idea, man.
Hmm.
Asking for badge numbers, I had no idea what that was a thing until I got older. As a teenager, yeah, man, that's
Right,
just how it was. If
right.
and that's if they see you first, because if you see them first, shit, run.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the way it was. I mean, at some point I found out, that you could report police officers, but I never did after plenty incidents. But looking back in hindsight, I wish I would have,
Man.
because that would have
Yeah.
started, a record of this particular officer. And maybe this person doesn't even need to be a police officer,
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
I really, really like that.
Hmm.
It's funny you asked that, because I think it was about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. I can't remember. No, as a matter of fact, this was before the pandemic. And I got pulled over, and the police were pulling over everybody. I was on the east side. I mean, I saw about 6 people being pulled over, and then bam, my turn came. And the reason he
Right.
pulled me over, he gave me was such garbage. But uh, that prompted me, like, yeah, I should have been reporting their asses a long time ago. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
along with having the evaluations of their cases, of their arrest records and stuff like that. I think that every single policeman across the United States
Hmm.
needs to go through a mental
Yep.
evaluation.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Yes.
Because
truth be
They
Yes.
told,
because
they do. They just got to go
they
through it.
do at the
Supposedly.
beginning, but at the
Supposedly.
beginning, but once you get antiquated to the southeast side of Chicago, over there by Yates and all
Hmm.
this and other stuff,
All right.
it'll change your
Hmm.
whole mentality of how police work should happen. It just
hmm
does.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in South Shore, so I'm not trying to like swing on anybody. I'm not trying to swing on a neighborhood or anything like that, or a policeman
Right.
that actually patrols that area. But the thing is that if
Hmm.
you're going in and out of Inglewood, if you're going out in and out of east side of Chicago, if you're going in and out of Grand Crossing, if you're going through all of these different neighborhoods that have been known to be a little bit more active in the criminal element, then you actually have to it actually will change your mind about your what you learned in the academy or what you learned with
Exactly.
your partner, and then you start to form your own opinion of how police work should happen. So therefore, what happens is
Exactly.
that that those individuals need to be evaluated individually, mentally,
They
because
need to be taught to de-escalate is the thing. You know what I mean? Again, they're afraid.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
scared. They're scared, which is why people end up
Yes.
getting shot. But they need to be taught to de-escalate. There's a certain level of psychiatrist you need to be when you're policing people, you know? Um I don't think it's
Yeah.
just a mental evaluation. I think it's in their education. Like you have to, I mean, um like I said, I worked in the school system for a while, and I was security in a very large building, and
Yeah.
we didn't carry ourselves the way you would think a security guard does or should. We were everything. We
Hmm.
were we were therapists when they needed. We were mentors. We were, you know what I'm saying, and we didn't need to be armed. Like, everybody wants to take the police out of schools. We weren't armed. and we managed a school of 4,000, and there were only 50 of us because they knew that we had their best interest in mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bless you. Um,
Right.
Thank you.
so it really was about, we de-escalated situations, and we met them on a common ground so that they understood, man, we're not there, we're not out to get you. You know what I mean? And I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference right there in a nutshell, because I I've always felt, again, and I know cops, I even thought about doing it at one point, but
Right.
like it's hard to
So do I.
not feel
Mm-hmm.
like they're out to get you. Like, I know every time I see a cop car behind me, man, my insides get hot. Like, you know what I'm saying? My
Man,
temperature
mine
go
do
up.
too.
Like,
It's
yo,
like it's like
yo, every
it's like
time,
this
man.
whole flush of just
Like,
warmness
all
just
shit is
comes
all
over
shit.
you.
Here
Oh
we
my
go again,
God. And I'm a female. It's like here where the fuck we go. Like real talk. Main let's go to the comments really quick. Go back to
or no?
He said, or not. Mm.
Well, just fill some space. But yeah,
Man, go
man.
Can
back to
y'all
what
hear
you
me?
were
Yeah,
Say that again.
yeah. Now I was just saying, I'm gonna go ahead and fill
Can
some
y'all
space
hear
while
me?
she's doing. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, bro. I hear you.
not harass those in the community. Officer Norman in Arkansas is a
Gotcha.
community officer. He knows the people in his community. I grew up in Fort Heights, and the police in the 80s and 90s were black and they were crooked. Lisa, I can
Mm.
attest to that as well because I have seen police officers in my neighborhood in the Hunnits in Cooper Park come to the park, drop off guns and drugs and pick up money to people in my neighborhood. I'm not gonna say who, but
Uh-oh.
Mm.
nevertheless, this is true. And then they said that they shook down the drug dealers. Well, most of my homies were anyway. And so they knew who they were, but as long as they were getting the money, they turned a blind eye. This is true to some extent because what they would do in our neighborhood is they would take their drugs. They would leave. Sometimes they would leave the drugs, take their money, and then
Mm.
sometimes they would drop off the drugs and the guns. So a lot of times when we see, I've seen the police hit the freights. They saying that it's Pookie and all us. We're not hitting the freights. I've seen the police officers hit the freights and then come into the neighborhoods and drop off the sexy guns and shit. You give a 14 or 15-year-old AR-15, he gonna go to work. You give me as a 28-year-old black woman an AR-15, and I'm gonna go off. You understand what I'm saying? But man, you said something that was very, very interesting and good to the public. Getting back, I'm sorry. You said to comply with the police so that you live to fight another day. And I said this
Yeah.
on a live video a couple of weeks ago in regards to the Justin Blake situation. I'm not going to even give my opinion on the Justin Blake situation because
Thank you.
whatever. But I have seen some videos and I do not agree with the police at all using excessive force on any human being, not just black, but white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Although I ain't never seen the police use excessive force on anybody but black folk. I'm just saying, and there is a point where I tell people that you must. It doesn't mean that you still gonna live, but as much as you possibly can, comply with whatever it is that they're telling you to do. Don't bug up, don't say shit. Just do what they say. And a woman got pissed off at me and said Black Lives Matter. And she has to get off my live. And I promise you that day I didn't lose a wink of sleep over her leaving my live that day either, because that's the God's honest truth. I tell my sons, my nephews, I tell anybody, if you see the police, they pull your ass over, just shut up. Just shut up and live to fight another day. Now we've seen the police still. Who was that boy that was in the car with his woman and his kids? Well, which one,
Mm.
right? He was in the
Philando
car and they
Castile.
still pulled a gun on him and shot that man in
Orlando,
front
yeah.
of his who?
Philando Castile.
In front, come on, and shot that boy in front of his family, and he was compliant, I believe. So
And
it's 50 and it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But if you black, I think you should shut your ass up. Um, Something else, better training. Aubrey, you talk about better training for the police. The police are what people don't know and don't understand, and I've heard this from some police officers, black and white, especially here in the city of Chicago, that they are military trained. They are not trained to de-escalate the situation. And
That's
they
right.
are trained across the board that black and brown are dangerous. This is their training.
Mm.
And someone else said something about being afraid. My thing is, if you're afraid, you ain't got no. If you're afraid of people, you have no business being a police officer. If I'm afraid of fire, why the hell would I be a firefighter? If I'm afraid of dogs, why would I be a dog catcher? If I'm afraid of cameras, why would I be a filmmaker? So if your ass is scared, you should not have been a police officer, period.
wow,
And that's my take on that. Aubrey, I agree with you
exactly.
1001% that they do not, we don't know our own history. So they don't know theirs either, because I believe if majority of white people knew their history, they would go somewhere and sit their ass down and shut the fuck up too. And that's all I'm saying on that. Um, I have enjoyed this panel. We have gone way over. This is the longest show I've ever done. 2 hours and 5 minutes and 55 seconds and counting. And I know y'all getting restless as I am. I'm tired. I gotta use the bathroom, all that good stuff. But I really appreciate you all. This has been the craziest broadcast that I've ever had. But I welcome crazy. So, anywho, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Again, this show is being sponsored by Luvolution Superfood, by Amy and John Cripen in Maine. Join me next Friday when we're going to get out of here. Erica Danny's Bros said this was good. And
Join her next Friday when
Next
she'll
All
have
Friday.
some
right,
more
exit
guests to talk
together.
about some more awesome things,
Exit.
and she'll be all up in your face with some more K Dixon.
All right,
Thank you
fellas,
for
it was good
thank
coming
you
on
for
with you.
Yes, sir.
thank you for sharing. Thank you for participating, y'all.
Oh
My
man, yeah,
brother,
absolutely,
be
brothers.
cool.
It was a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can collab on a project or three in the
Thank you,
future.
Chris Greer.
Oh yeah.
Thank you,
Oh, she's back.
Terrence. Thank you,
Thank
Right on
Aubrey.
cue.
you.
And thank you, Maine.
All right.
Two
Word.
more comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Erica Danny Sproles said this was good. And then Auntie Lisa again said, I agree, Miss K. This was much needed. Great job, everyone. And then Remembering Wholeness from YouTube said, great conversation. Thank you. No, thank you all two of y'all for watching. I love you. Catch us next Friday, or catch me next Friday. Um, Mwah. Good night, all. Love
Word.
you.
Bye.
Keep your
Easy.
smile
All right.
until you leave the studio.
Man.
Bye.
Count that shit.